Hello there, I'm Pritha Manivannan and you're tuned in to Nightline, the top stories. Labuan becomes first in Malaysia to move to Phase 4 of National Recovery Plan. And China hits back at US Vice President Kamala Harris over accusations of intimidation. Good morning. Labuan will be the first among federal territories and states in the country to transition from Phase 3 of the National Recovery Plan (NRP) to Phase 4 effective this Thursday, while Negeri Sembilan will move from Phase 1 to Phase 2 also on the same day. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the decision was made after taking into account the 2-dose vaccination rate under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme and the positive trend of new daily cases in both states. The Premier, in a statement on Tuesday, said 92.4% of the adult population in Labuan had been fully vaccinated, and daily new cases have steadily remained at single digits for the last 12 days. The bed utilisation rate at intensive care units (ICU) on the island has also dropped to 0 from 30% in the previous month. With the decision, all the economic sectors in Labuan were allowed to operate with a staff capacity of 100%, subject to the Standard Operating Procedures (SOP). Seminars, workshops, courses and activities involving physical meetings will be allowed at 50% capacity. Meanwhile, social events such as wedding feasts, celebration of festivals, engagement, retreats and reunions are allowed at 50% capacity based on the capacity of the premise or hall, and that physical distancing must be practiced. As for Negeri Sembilan, Datuk Seri Ismail announced that the state is on the right track to achieving herd immunity, adding that the COVID-19 situation has improved with bed utilisation rate at ICU wards dropping from 120% in May to below 40% on Monday. Negeri Sembilan residents will also enjoy similar relaxations as the other states that have moved to Phase 2, such as inter-district travel for individuals who have completed 2 vaccine doses. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob continues to receive congratulatory messages from world leaders on his appointment as the 9th Prime Minister. On Tuesday, he received a telephone call from Australian Prime Minister Scott John Morrison, as well as a letter from Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. Now, according to the Prime Minister's office (PMO), in their conversation, Datuk Seri Ismail and Morrison both expressed their commitment to further strengthen the close and long-established ties between Malaysia and Australia. Meanwhile, the Premier also thanked Li for the greetings he conveyed via a letter dated August 23rd. The PMO said Li also expressed China's commitment to strengthen the well-established diplomatic relations between the two countries, as well as continue to build trade ties and share strategies to fight COVID-19 more effectively. Yang di-Pertua Negeri of Melaka, Tun Muhammad Ali Rustam, has called on all parties to remain calm in facing the COVID-19 outbreak following the increase in cases nationwide, including in the state. He said there are silver linings for Melaka as the state is expected to move to Phase 2 of the National Recovery Plan by September, and he urged the people to continue cultivating the new norms by complying with all standard operating procedures set by the authorities.
Tanpa kerjasama daripada semua pihak, usaha mengawal penularan COVID-19 ini tidak mampu dicapai dan akan terus memberi kesan negatif kepada sosioekonomi negeri Melaka.
In a special message in conjunction with his 72nd official birthday celebration on Tuesday, Tun Muhammad Ali also expressed hope that the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination program could form herd immunity and would revive the country in the near future. He added, last year, Malacca recorded an unemployment rate of 2.2%, the second lowest after Putrajaya, and the figure was also much lower than 4.5% recorded at the national level. He also said the state's investment report this year also gave a positive picture of its economic growth, and he hoped that the situation would continue to improve until the end of the year. Based on the Malaysian Investment Development Authority MIDA report, Malacca recorded 3.42 billion ringgit in total investments until March this year, including 3.26 billion in foreign investments. Earlier, a cake-cutting ceremony was also held for Tun Muhammad Ali, who was joined by his wife, Puan Asma Abdul Rahman, in conjunction with his birthday celebration. The simple but symbolic ceremony was held at the couple's official residence at Istana Malacca in Bukit Beruang. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani heads the list of 695 Malacca State Award recipients in conjunction with the 72nd official birthday celebration of the Yang di-Pertua Negeri of Malacca, Tun Muhammad Ali Rustam, on Tuesday. The Malacca State Secretary's Office in a statement stated Datuk Sri Akril Sani received the Darjah Gemilang Sri Malacca DGSM Award, which carries the title of Datuk Sri. Also receiving the same award was Army Chief General Tan Sri Zamros Muhammad Zain. 14 other individuals received the Darjah Cemerlang Seri Malacca DCSM Award, carrying the title of Datuk Wira, which included Malacca Police Chief Datuk Abdul Majid Muhammad Ali and national football legend Datuk Soh Chin An. The Malacca State Government also awarded Darjah Pangkuan Seri Malacca DPSM, which carried the title of Datuk, to a number of individuals. Among them is former New Straits Times Press and STP Group photo editor and a member of Malacca Hari Ini's Board of Directors, Datuk Kamarudin Ahmad, while Media Prima Berhad's TV Network's head of news, Kamarudin Mape, received the Darjah Sri Malacca. The statement said the investiture ceremony would be held after the state moved into Phase 3 of the National Recovery Plan, taking into account safety and public health factors. Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Putra Jamalulail has called on all state assemblymen in Perlis to think rationally and work together in maintaining stability in the state by putting the interests of the people ahead of personal political gains. The Raja of Perlis decreed that all assemblymen should listen to the grievances of the people in ensuring that all measures taken can be enjoyed by all levels in the community, including the grassroots. According to Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin, the combination of two situations, namely the COVID-19 pandemic and the country's uncertain political climate, had a negative impact on the country's development agenda. However, he is confident that with proper planning of the state government, driven by the stable political environment, Perlis will be an attractive destination for investors and will continue to move forward.
Karena iklim politik di Perlis adalah tenang dan stabil. Beta ingin menyuruh supaya ahli-ahli yang berhormat sentiasa berfikiran profesional dan saling bekerjasama dalam menegakkan kestabilan. Letakkanlah kepentingan rakyat di hadapan mengatasi kepentingan politik pribadi.
He said this in his royal address when officiating the fourth term of the 14th Perlis State Legislative Assembly at the State Assembly Complex in Kanga on Tuesday. Also present was the Raja Muda of Perlis, Tuanku Syed Faizuddin Putra Jamalulail. Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin also expressed hope that the appointment of Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob as the 9th Prime Minister will bring stability to the country. Meanwhile, in Kelantan, the State Legislative Assembly was informed that the state government would implement the COVID-19 vaccination for students aged 17 and 18 in mid-September. State Local Government, Housing and Health Committee Chairman Dr. Izani Hussain said the state's health department is making the necessary preparations and asked all students involved to register for vaccinations on their MySejahtera application.
Bulan 9 insyaAllah. Bulan 9 akan mula. Dalam tengah-tengah bulan 9 ni, kita akan mula vaksin umur 17-18 insyaAllah. 17-18. InsyaAllah. Tengok pada pendaftaran dia lah. Ikut pendaftaran.
Jadi pendaftaran sekolah-sekolah ke macam mana?
Pendaftaran MySejahtera juga. MySejahtera.
Jadi sebenarnya anggaran tu mungkin
maknanya kita akan mula vaksinkan pelajar-pelajar ni yang umur 17-18 ni insya-Allah dalam bulan 9 lah, tengah bulan 9 insya-Allah. Bila kita dapat herd immunity, kita dapat 80% ataupun 100% vaksin untuk umur lebih 18 ni, insya-Allah kita akan mulakan cari yang terlantar. Kita akan pergi rumah untuk vaksinkan mereka yang terlantar macam stroke dan sebagainya. Insya-Allah kita akan cari data-data tu.
Dr. Izani, who is also Sekijang Assemblyman, said this in response to a question by Jelawat Assemblyman Aziz Kadir, who had asked on preparations made following the reopening of schools soon. He added his committee received a notification from the Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry that Kelantan will receive 700,000 doses of vaccine next month and need an additional 200,000 doses to achieve the herd immunity target in October. Ahmad Maslan pleads not guilty to charge of failing to declare 2 million ringgit to IRB. This and more when we return.
A world-renowned economist, leader in sustainable development, public policy analyst, senior United Nations advisor and best-selling author. Also syndicated columnist whose monthly newspaper columns appear in more than 100 countries. Money Matters speaks with Professor Jeffrey Sachs with me, Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan, this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
Welcome back. The Kuala Lumpur High Court has issued a subpoena to a specialist doctor from a private hospital to explain Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's medical condition after the former Deputy Prime Minister's no-show for his corruption case hearing on Tuesday. Judge Datuk Colin Lawrence Sequeira said he needed to find out from the doctor who is treating Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid about the procedure the accused has to undergo and to ascertain his recovery period. In issuing the subpoena to Dr. Muhammad Shahir Anwar from Avicenna Specialist Hospital in Shah Alam, the judge said this was needed as the court could not afford any more postponements of the trial. The judge added he would rather have the accused present in court for the hearing to avoid a situation resulting to a mistrial, and also ordered for the doctor to come to the court at 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. The court was supposed to hear submissions at the end of the prosecution's case by both parties during Tuesday's proceedings. However, the court was informed that the UMNO president was unable to come as he had been hospitalized due to a back injury before fixing September 6th to hear the submissions. Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid is facing 47 charges of criminal breach of trust, corruption and money laundering involving tens of millions of ringgit belonging to Yayasan Akal Budi. Also at the Kuala Lumpur High Court, Pontian Member of Parliament Datuk Sri Ahmad Maslan pleaded not guilty on Tuesday to charges of money laundering for failing to declare 2 million ringgit which he received from Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak to the Inland Revenue Board IRB. He was also slapped with another charge of giving false statement to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC. Datuk Sri Ahmad claimed trial when the charges were read to him again, this time before Judge Datuk Ahmad Shahrir Muhammad Saleh, after he was allowed to transfer the case from the Sessions Court to the High Court. The High Court then set September 29th for case management after allowing the former Deputy Finance Minister to apply the 500,000 ringgit bail imposed previously by the lower court when he was charged for the first time on January 21st last year. During the proceedings, the prosecution informed the court that 10 witnesses will be called to testify, while hearing of the case had been set for 23 days next year, between June 7th and August 25th. Datuk Sri Ahmad was alleged to have violated the Income Tax Act by not stating his real income on the 2 million ringgit he received from the former Prime Minister in the income tax return form for assessment year 2013. The UMNO Secretary-General was also alleged to have given false statements to the MACC when questioned by an investigating officer over the issue in July 2019. In Terengganu, 4 youths who were nabbed when police raided a wild party in Kuala Nerus about 2 weeks ago were charged at the Kuala Terengganu Magistrates Court with drug trafficking on Tuesday. No pleas were recorded from all the accused, aged between 20 and 23, when the charge was read to them before Magistrate Nordiana Abdul Aziz, who later denied them bail and fixed October 13th for remention. The 4 allegedly committed the offence by trafficking methamphetamine weighing 50 grams at a homestay in Taman Pinggiran Airport on August 12th. If convicted under the Dangerous Drugs Act, they face the death penalty or life imprisonment and no less than 15 lashes of the rattan. In Selangor, a couple ended up getting arrested by cops on Monday after the wife had bragged on social media that they were able to dine in at a restaurant despite she and her husband have not been vaccinated against COVID-19. The couple, aged 35 and 36, were detained by police following her Facebook posting, which went viral detailing their trip to the eatery with their child, which she claimed was a social experiment to see if they would be denied entry into the premises. Klang Selatan Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Shamsul Amar Ramli said the duo were apprehended at their Bandar Putra 2 home at about 5 p.m. over the statements, which can cause fear and concern among the public. The couple was subsequently released on police bail the same day after authorities have recorded their statements to facilitate investigations into the case. After this breather, Biden faces pressure from G7 to extend Afghanistan withdrawal deadline. You're still with us on Nightline. Now on to the foreign front. China on Tuesday hit back at U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris's accusations of intimidation in Asian waters. Its Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman held up the U.S.'s chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan as an example of Washington's selfish foreign policy. During a trip to Singapore, Harris took aim at Beijing for making claims to the vast majority of the South China Sea as she sought to reassure regional allies of America's commitment to Asia and binding international rules.
Beijing continues to coerce, to intimidate, and to make claims to the vast majority of the South China Sea. These unlawful claims have been rejected by the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal decision. And Beijing's actions continue to undermine the rules-based order and threaten the sovereignty of nations.
Harris's remarks, billed by the White House as a major foreign policy speech, echoed the themes of other administration officials who have sought to engage more with allies in a break from Donald Trump's America First worldview. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin snapped back, accusing the U.S. of hiding behind rhetoric of a rules-based global order to defend its own bullying hegemonic behavior.
当前阿富汗发生的事情，清楚地告诉人们，什么是美国所讲的规则，什么是美国所谓的秩序。美国可以肆意对一个主权国家进行军事干涉，而不必为这个国家的人民所遭受的苦难负责。美方总试图拿规则、秩序为自己的自私自利和霸凌霸道行径辩护，但是现在又有几个人会相信呢？
Vice President Harris heads to Hanoi late Tuesday, but has faced criticism for going ahead with the Vietnam leg of the visit amid the Afghanistan evacuation. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to come under pressure at a G7 meeting on Tuesday to seek more time to evacuate thousands of people hoping to flee from Afghanistan as fears grow that time for the massive operation is running out. U.S. allies warned they will not be able to evacuate all Afghans fleeing the Taliban by August 31st. The UK will chair the emergency talks and has said it will urge the United States to extend the deadline to complete the Afghan allies. France has also called on Washington to push back the timeline, but hours before the summit, Britain's Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said it is unlikely evacuations will be extended beyond the deadline. A spokesman from the Taliban warned Monday the hardline Islamist group would not agree to any extension, calling the issue a red line with any delay viewed as extending occupation. The G7 meeting will also discuss longer-term objectives, how to support refugees in the future, resettlement schemes, aid and efforts aimed at securing a more stable future for Afghanistan. Israeli warplanes have bombed Hamas sites in Gaza on Tuesday night in response to incendiary balloons, which they claimed were launched from the Palestinian enclave, causing brush fires in southern Israel. The Palestinian Ministry of Health reported no casualties, but farmers said the strikes caused much damage to their farms, particularly those in the eastern area of the Strip. Amongst the targets hit by the Zionist army were a Hamas weapon factory in Khan Yunis, the entrance of a terror tunnel in Jabalia, and an underground rocket launcher in the Shijaya neighborhood. The latest escalation of tension follows weekend border clashes in which dozens were injured. Action from the Winston-Salem Open. Sports coming up next. Sports now. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has expressed hope to hear the national anthem, Negaraku, to be played and the Jalur Gemilang to be hoisted as many times as possible at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. The Prime Minister said with strong determination and all the training that had been done, he believed that there was no reason Malaysian Paralympic athletes could not shine at the prestigious Games.
You all semua boleh memastikan bendera Malaysia bukan saja berkibar tetapi lagu Negaraku akan dimainkan di Tokyo nanti. Dan you all semua adalah kebanggaan Malaysia kerana you all mewakili Malaysia. Berjuang demi Malaysia.
He said this in a virtual pep talk with Malaysian Paralympic athletes on Tuesday. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri also hoped that all athletes would take care of themselves, maintain discipline and comply with all the standard operating procedures set by the Japanese government to avoid COVID-19 infection. For the 2020 edition of the Paralympic Games, Malaysia is represented by 22 athletes who will be competing in 9 types of sports involving 32 events. Malaysia bagged 3 gold medals and 1 bronze in the 2016 edition. On to tennis, the Winston-Salem Open. World number 10 Luca Poya made a winning start as he defeated Feliciano Lopez by straight sets in their opening match on Monday. Poya dominated the opening set, losing only 1 game on his way to closing it with a thumping ace as he took it 6-1. Lopez then rallied somewhat in the second but was unable to stop the Frenchman's commanding play as Poya closed out the match with another ace to win it 6-4. He will next face Brit Daniel Evans in the second round. Meanwhile, in another match, 14th-seeded Richard Gasquet of France kept his hope of winning his first title alive as he edged Egor Gerasimov of Belarus to reach the next round on. Gasquet was forced to break a sweat in both sets as he overcame his opponent 7-6 in both sets. Like Cajamarca or Pasco, the Department of Apurimac in Peru has several tourist attractions, among which the Pancula Hills stand out. Located in the Pampachiri Stone Forest, it is also called the Village of the Smurfs, since most of the figures in the forest are shaped like mushrooms, similar to the ones in the famous cartoon. Take a look. With that, I'm Pritha Manivannan. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, Malaysia, stay safe.